Friends, in this video we are going to understand something about the osmosis. In my previous video I have already discussed the first coagulative property, that was the relative lowering of the vapor pressure. I have also made a video upon how to determine the relative lowering of the vapor pressure by a very important method, that was the Ostwald and Walker's dynamic method. So without any delay, now let us start this video about the osmosis. Now what is this osmosis? The osmosis is simply a phenomena where we see the movement of the water molecule, that is the pure solvent, from a lower concentration towards the higher concentration across a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, as you can see that here I have one solution. Okay, this is a solution, and as we know that the solution contains two components. One is the solute one, this circle one is the solute one, small circles, and this is the solvent. Okay, this is the solute and this is the solvent, and in the whole this is the solution. Okay, and we know that here there is a pure solvent one, this is a pure solvent. Okay, pure solvent, and these two are separated by a semi permeable membrane. This is a semi permeable membrane. Okay, its job is to allow the passage of only the solvent molecule. So what happens during osmosis, this pure solvent, the molecule from this pure, the water molecule from this pure solvent will pass towards this solution side by crossing this semi permeable membrane. Okay, and as we know that the concentration of this pure solvent will be less as compared to the concentration of this solution, because this solution contains the solute molecule. Okay, along with the solvent molecule. So one question must can come in your mind that this solution also have the solvent. Okay, so why not this solvent will cross this semi-permeable membrane and enter to this side? Yeah, it will cross, but as we know that comparison of the solvent molecule present in this solution to the solvent molecule present in this side is less, because as we can see that here is a pure solvent molecule and here there is a solvent molecule along with the solute molecule. So the number of the solvent molecule as compared to this case will be less in here. So there will be movement of the solvent molecule across the semi-permeable membrane from this side towards this side, but it will be less as compared to the movement of this solvent molecule across the semi-permeable membrane from this side towards this solution side. So the net movement will be this, the net movement will be this, the movement of pure solvent towards the solution. I hope that I am quite clear to you. By discussing osmosis, we came across to these two terms, that is the semi-permeable membrane and the osmotic pressure. We have already seen what is the semi-permeable membrane. We can also create a semi-permeable membrane chemically, that is of the cupric ferrocyanide. Okay, and what is this osmotic pressure? So briefly I am going to tell you that the osmotic pressure is a kind of a pressure that is exerted upon the solution, and it what it does, it prevents the further flow of the pure solvent towards the solution. Now it will be much clear to you when I will show you the chart, or you can say I will show you the diagram, so it will be much clear to you when will show you the diagram. So let us see the diagram. Before showing you the diagram, we must know this, that if we are talking about pure solvent and solution, in case of pure solvent, we'll have a higher activity order, higher activity water. Okay, but in the case of this solution will have lower activity water. Now this water is basically, we know that it is a solvent. Okay, so in the case of this solution it will have a lower activity, because we because we know that in solution there is also one component, that is the solute. Due to the presence of the solute, the water present, or we can say the solvent present in this solution will be lower activity, and as this solvent which is a pure solvent, so the water present in it will be of the higher activity. Okay, so now let us see the diagram. As you can see here, it is a pure water, that is it is a solvent. Okay, pure solvent, and this is a solution. Okay, these are two components. This is the pure solvent and this is a solution. Okay, and in the middle we can see this is a semi permeable membrane. This yellow one is the semi permeable membrane. And what its function is to allow the passage of the solvent, but to prevent the passage of the solute molecule. Okay, we know that here is some solvent present and here is also some solvent present in this solution. Okay, so the solvent, that is the water, in this case is having a higher activity. Okay, because there is no presence of the solute, because it is a pure solvent, pure water in this case. But in this case this is a solution. Okay, so we know that the solution must contain two components, one is the solute and other is the solvent. So we can say that in this phase the amount of the some amount of the solvent is being occupied by the solute molecule, and as a result the amount of the solvent in this phase is lowered as compared to this, so it has a lower activity. Okay, and we can see this is the movement of the solvent molecule towards the solution. Okay, from a higher activity water to the lower activity water, or we can say from a less concentrated towards a more concentrated. Okay, and we can see that there are some solvent molecule in this solution also, and we can see that that also moves toward this solvent, but that is very less as compared to this movement toward the solution. Okay, so I hope that it's clear. And now let us see what is the osmotic pressure. Osmotic pressure is, we can see, and this is the osmotic pressure. It has been created. Osmotic pressure is denoted by this pi, and it has been created in order to prevent the flow of further solvent molecule into the solution. Okay, we will see much detail in here in this diagram. As you can see in this diagram, it is a kind of a U-shaped tube. Okay, this side we can easily see that this is the pure water, that is the solvent. Okay, this is the pure water, that is the solvent, and in this side we can see that the solution side. Okay, so the activity here we see that the higher activity water present. Okay, and here we can see that the lower activity water in the solution side present. So, and this is the semi permeable membrane. So of the solvent molecule will form the higher activity water towards the lower activity water, as we can see from this arrow, this bigger arrow, and down to it is the smaller arrow, which denote the movement of some of the solvent molecule from this solution towards this pure solvent, but that is very less as comparable to the movement of the pure solvent towards the solution. Okay, so what happened when this pure solvent molecule from this pure solvent, or we can say molecule from this pure water, moves towards this solution, then the level of the solution rises. Okay, see this H is the rise in the level of the solution, as we can see. I hope you can understand. So this H is the rise in the level of the solution. Now what will happen to to maintain the equilibrium? There will be a pressure exerted on this solution side. Okay, in order to make this level of this solution and this pure solvent equal, or you can say to to maintain the equilibrium level, there will be a pressure exerted on this solution molecule, and due to which no more no more of the solvent can move towards the solution. Okay, so basically osmotic pressure is the equilibrium pressure exerted on the solution to prevent the further movement of the solvent towards the solution. Okay, so from here we can see that the osmotic pressure, this osmotic pressure, we can see that the osmotic pressure exerted here toward the solution and here toward the solution is directly proportional to the molar concentration. I hope you can understand. More the molar concentration, more will be the osmotic pressure, and this osmotic pressure will be also directly proportional to the temperature. Okay, so now let us derive the Van 't Hoff relation between the osmotic pressure and the molecular mass of the solute. Let us begin. So here we are going to determine the Van 't Hoff relation between the osmotic pressure of a solution and the molecular mass of solute. So Van 't Hoff is a scientist. Okay, what he said that the solute molecule. He said that there is a similarity between the molecules of the gases and the solute molecule, that is in the dilute solution. Okay, and he termed this osmotic pressure, he denoted this osmotic pressure as a pi. Okay, so osmotic pressure, we have seen earlier that this osmotic pressure was directly proportional to the C. What is this C? This C is the molar concentration. Okay, molar concentration, and this pi is the osmotic pressure. Okay, we'll write this osmotic pressure. So now what happens, we see that this osmotic pressure is directly proportional to the molar concentration. This is the first equation. Okay, or we can see that it is the first case, and in the second case we see that this osmotic pressure is directly proportional to temperature, as I have said you earlier. Okay, so what we will do that we'll combine these two cases together. Okay, we'll combine these two cases together, and we can write this, the osmotic pressure will be directly proportional to the molar concentration multiplied by the temperature. Okay, we can say that. Now now we can remove this proportionality sign by introducing a r. Here r is a kind of a constant. Okay, it has the same value as that of the gas constant. Okay, so we'll get something like this. Okay, now what we will do, if a solution is prepared by dissolving n mole of a solute, if a solution, see I am writing here, if a solution is prepared by dissolving n moles of the solute in V, okay, in V liters of the solution, the molar concentration would be something C equals to N by V. I hope that I am clear here. Okay, moles per liter. Okay, so we can write the value of pi to be pi equals to N by VRT. What we have done, we have just put the value of this concentration in this equation, so we have this. Okay, I hope that I am clear. So now we can easily understood this. So this equation is also termed as the Van't Hoff equation. Okay, what? Van't Hoff equation. Van't Hoff equation of dilute solution. Okay, it shows that the osmotic pressure, this is the osmotic pressure, is proportional to the molar concentration of the solute in the solution. Okay, and hence it is termed as the coagulative property. Okay, now we will determine the molecular mass from this osmotic pressure. So for that, if W gram of the solute are dissolved in V liters of solution and M is the molecular mass, or we can say M is the molecular mass of the solute, then what will have? The value of N will be something like this: W by M. Okay, pi V equals to nRT. Okay, I hope that you are getting this. Now what will have? Pi V equals to W by mRT. We have substituted here. What we have done? We have substituted the value of N in this equation. Okay, we have substituted the value of N. I hope that it is clear that how this equation came. This equation came from here. We have multiplied this N towards this side, so we get this equation, and here we have substituted the value of N. I hope that it's clear. Okay, so now we'll have the value of M will be something like WRT by pi V. I hope that it's clear. Then the molecular mass M of the solute can be calculated from this equation if the osmotic pressure of the solution is known. Okay, I hope that this video is quite clear to you. So here we have seen the Van't Hoff relation between the osmotic pressure of the solution and the molecular mass of the solute. We have also determined the molecular mass from the osmotic pressure, and we have seen what is the osmotic pressure. Okay, I hope that this video lecture is quite helpful to you. For more video lecture on the chemistry, please like and subscribe my channel. Thank you very much.